gentlemen, welcome to Sports Talkies with me, Clinton D'Souza. Today we are going to another genre of sports. All this time we focused on cricket, football and other sports, but today we'll be talking about badminton. Yes, badminton does exist in Goa and there are lots of players who have been pursuing their career in this field. And I have with me in our studio today, that is Mr. Praveen Shenoy. He is the founder and president of Chikalim Badminton Club, and he also will speak about what is this club all about in Chikalim and what is his plan when it comes to taking this club ahead. Also, I have with me Sandeep Heble ji, who is the secretary of the association and also the badminton committee member for Khelo India Goa. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Herald TV studio. Sir, I will start with you. Tell me about your association and your club in Chikalim out there in the Port Town area.
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, Clinton, for having me here. I'd love to share my views on the Chikalim Badminton Club. We started that club a few years back, around 7 or 8 years back, with the intention of promoting badminton as a sport, which was gaining immense popularity thanks to the likes of Saina Nehwal, PV Sindhu, Kidambi Srikanth, Kashyap, and so on and so forth. These players have had tremendous influence of this sport amongst youngsters, and we saw that coming in amongst our Goan children as well. More so in Mormugao district, Chikalim, where I come from, I felt the need to push our children and introduce them to sport. And seeing that immense talent in the outdoor arena, we wanted to bring it to the professional indoor sports complexes. So Chikalim Badminton Club promoted this particular sport and started organizing various coaching camps as well. We've got coaches who give coaching to various young children in our Mormugao district, and together as a club we conduct various tournaments. Now these tournaments vary from all age groups, from the age of 8 years to even senior men and women as well. We've done these kind of programs as a club and all with association with Goa Badminton Association. Sandeep has been very instrumental in supporting us as a association to help promote this cause as well. Our most famous and most most awaited tournament every year, I can say, is an annual tournament called Vasco Badminton League, where the entire age group of from 13 till even the veterans participate, and it's a team event, and almost 120 odd players from all over Goa, right from ranking players to non-ranking players, participate. And hopefully there are many other plans which I'd like to share with you as we go forward in terms of what we intend to do as a club.
Okay. Now moving ahead, I have with me Sandeep. Sandeep, tell me, with regards to Goa Badminton Association, what is the strength? How many players are registered under this association? How many players are there in Goa who play this sport?
Yeah, Clinton, see earlier, badminton in Goa used to be organized mainly at the state level.
Okay.
But for the last, I think 3-4 years back, we have started organizing badminton at taluka levels as well as district levels. So we've seen the popularity of badminton grow even at various talukas. And now the new infrastructure has also come up. Like earlier there used to be just a few stadiums, but government of Goa has built stadiums in various parts of Goa. Like you see a stadium in Kepe, stadium in Saklim, Ponda, Savarde. So various places there are badminton facilities. Now even in Perne, the new stadium has come up. Of course, badminton hasn't started there as yet, but we are planning to start.
Hopefully it should.
We are planning to start something there. So number of stadiums, and now we've started organizing tournaments in these areas also. So you have an exponential rise in the number of players. So I would say roughly now we have, officially we have about 1,400 players on our roll who are registered. And apart from them, these are the players who play in the tournaments.
Okay.
So apart from them, we have a number of trainees also, beginner level trainees, then intermediate, advanced. So you could say roughly there is a pool of around 2,000, 2,500 players who play this sport. There's a lot of outdoor activity also. Almost every week there are some outdoor tournaments which are organized. Of course, this association does not really get into the outdoor part, but then our players go and participate in these tournaments. There is a good prize money. So badminton as a sport is growing. It's also due to the popularity which has been attained with our players, Indian players, I would say, winning a lot of laurels at the international level. And even at the Olympics, as you know, 3 consecutive Olympics, Indians have won medals. You had Saina starting with the bronze, and then Sindhu went on to win in the last 2 Olympics medals.
So now when you say that badminton is growing, this is a common question, any one of you all can answer. I want to know, what is the support? Now, to grow, you need support.
Right.
But when it comes to getting financial support or other infrastructure support or any kind of support, how is the support that you guys receive when it comes to the government or the authorities?
Okay, I'll start with, in a general manner, I will answer this. It's not only related to badminton, but I think all the sports. Because if you see in Goa, you have football, which is receiving a lot of support. The government has also started this GFDC, where they receive something to the tune of 5-6 crores a year. So badminton actually doesn't receive anything of this kind from the government.
Nothing.
Nothing. There are no particular schemes.
But it is registered with the government.
It is registered with the Sports Authority of Goa. So whether it is badminton or all the other sports, they don't get any special schemes from the government. Our players who are selected for the nationals do get grants. I mean, the national teams do get grants, and for the state tournament, the SCG provides the annual grants to conduct this tournament, which covers the costs. But other than that, to push the game forward, that extra push which is required, which football has got, I think that kind of push is required. So what we last Goa Olympic Association meeting, what the entire general body had proposed, that something like the GFDC scheme, the government can come up with a similar scheme for all the associations. So if we have something like a crore of rupees which is earmarked to say the sports where Goa has the potential to do well, then we can get that extra push which football is getting.
So rather than having funding only for the top-notch players when they actually go to represent the state, I think the infusion of funds need to really come at the grassroots level. You know, so in order to reach out to the younger talent at the grassroots levels, the schools, the colleges, you know, to build the infrastructure at every single taluka, as well as you know, identified villages where we can spot talent and support them financially. Badminton is a very expensive sport. You know, just a shuttle box of 12 shuttles, birds, easily cost you anywhere around 1,600 to 2,000, and not every child or every parent is able to you know, give that kind of financial support to promote the sport. So for an expensive sport like badminton, I believe the government, the stakeholders like other corporates. Now many of these sports that Sandeep talked about, football, cricket, or you know,
have corporate owners.
You have corporate support. I mean, where we don't have them over here in badminton. Where is the corporate support? So all the stakeholders need to come in to, you know, infuse these finances into right from the grassroots level. We need to take it up the entire chain, you know, right up to making these quality players at the national level and to represent India as well.
I think I would like to interrupt on this part, is that when you say support and financial support, now your daughter is also represented Goa,
Yes.
your son is also ranked number 1.
That's right.
So how do you take this as a challenge? Like, I agree that you must be paying for most of
Yes.
it, but what about other players who has the talent but do not have the financial support? So what do you have to say on that?
Precisely. In fact, you hit the nail on the head, Clinton. That's precisely what I meant by saying the financial support has to reach out for a broader segment of the playing of the players. Not every parent or every family is able to support this expensive sport. The association also can do only so much, but you know, it cannot self-sustain. Even the association cannot self-sustain. It requires the support of the government. So the government needs to have some kind of a program to keep funding these initiatives of the association. We clubs together do our bit, okay, of trying to organize these programs and support the association for promoting the badminton sport in Goa in general. But there is only so much that we can do. If you really need to penetrate right at the grassroots levels, I think a much larger involvement of the stakeholders like the corporates and the government is a must.
Would you like to comment on this being a part of the association as well?
Yes, I'll just explain to you the structure which we are having association. So association has an executive committee which is elected by the clubs. So we have about 30 clubs which are registered with us presently. So each of these clubs organizes one event every year. Some of them, like Chikalim, which is more active, might do 2 or 3 events in a year. So these clubs ensure that this activity goes on and badminton is on the move all through the year. Now, other than this, what does a player need to reach the top level? So playing in tournaments is one aspect of it, but to reach the national and international level, a lot of hard work and sacrifice which is required, and a lot of training with top level players. Now, one thing which Goa misses here is vis-a-vis other states, I would say, is an academy, as a residential academy.
True.
Now, if you see a city like Hyderabad, a small city like Hyderabad, or a small city like Bangalore, they have got something like 70, 80 academies, 100 academies, which are there. In every area you will see one academy there. Whereas a big state like Goa does not have a single center of excellence or academy. So good player does not have that kind of quality to train. So good player has to go outside the state. So to go outside the state, the parent also has to incur those additional expenses, and the player has to sacrifice probably a lot of his personal life.
Exactly.
He might have to miss his schooling, regular schooling, and take up to open schooling or something like that.
I think we have seen that most of the players have been doing it, especially in the past, but not presently. Because presently everything is like, it has a proper structure kind of, like education is there, family time is there, most of them. But in the past, so do you think when it comes to, as you mentioned about the residential part, have you not met the authorities like the sports ministries or kind of authorities with this regards to?
We had given a proposal some time back. Government has built a lot of these international quality stadiums for Lusophone and for the national games. So we had asked them to convert one of that into an academy, a residential academy.
Okay.
So we'll try to take this proposal forward. I think table tennis also has now just last month started that Pinnacle Academy, which is a good thing. So I'm sure that table tennis also, they had the same situation. The best players used to go outside the state. You had Wesley Rosario, you had Anshuman Agarwal, and now with the academy in Margao itself, they could come back to Goa and train here, with possibly players from outside also joining. So something on those lines, if we have a center of excellence, a residential kind of setup here in Goa, which is created and supported by the government, then you'll have a lot of outstation players coming here. So the pool of talent will be there for our players. Otherwise, our top players do not have players of their same level. And they have to go outside. You cannot improve your standard by remaining here when your opponents are not of that same
What is the point of competing to a person who I would say to B when you have not crossed the hurdle of A+?
No, there is always a progressive approach. When you're playing the state level, you're competing to become a state champion. You want to become a national champion, you have to compete with 28 other states. I mean, you have to do that. That's the natural progression.
Coming on that, when it comes, now we spoke about the playing part. What about the future? Now there are, like in other states like Calcutta, Delhi, even in Jharkhand, to my knowledge, that most of the players are offered kind of a future.
Right.
The government. Maybe a government job, maybe some financial assistance. A lot of, they give them even some kind of support to start also. So what do you think about badminton in Goa and the players' future in Goa?
I think what your point is very much right, because previously customs and income tax and some other departments, they used to recruit sports persons. But now we are not seeing it of late. If you see in the customs earlier, there's so many sports persons were recruited through the sports quota. So if we can have these institutions recruit more and more sports persons, and sports persons getting jobs on a regular basis, At least I would say those sports persons who have represented Goa at the nationals, they should get all these corporate jobs. Like petroleum is the public sector, private sector. So there should be a certain quota which is there for local sports persons in these institutions. Then you will have players not leaving. Now we have that players play till say 10th or 12th, and then they go to the professional colleges. The best players tend to leave. We've had instances where we have talented sports persons, and once they have reached 12th and got admission in a professional college, and we can't blame them because that's the future for them.
Sense of security has to be there for a sports person.
And I think I would actually take you on that now, because you are a founder and president of a club at one side, but moreover you're a parent.
Yes.
And your two kids are both into that same.
Yes.
How you take them in this on this question?
I'll tell you what, I'm no different as a parent when these challenges are faced. Fortunately, God has been kind enough for me to be able to manage, the kind of support that I can provide to both my children to play the sport. But as a parent, you can do only so much. Okay, the support system, the ecosystem per se has to be there if these talents have to progress. Okay, that is why the need for dedicated academies, okay, the need for dedicated coaches, the need for dedicated support systems like dietitians, gyms, instructors. This is absolutely essential. A center of excellence is what Sandeep was talking about. That is absolutely essential for the sport like badminton in Goa. I can tell you one thing. In spite of all these challenges that we've been talking about for the last 7-8 minutes, okay, I have no doubt in my mind the sport of badminton in Goa is going to achieve pinnacles, for sure. Because there is tremendous talent. Exactly. I think it is for us who are passionate about promoting this sport, who are the administrators of this sport, who have to put their minds together and try to make this happen. We can make it happen. We can surely see, like Tanisha Crasto today, for example. She is a name in the sport of badminton in Goa. For Goa. Why can't we have another 20 more Tanisha Crastos? Why can't we have another 50 more? We can. The talent is there. You come and watch all the weekend sports, the tournaments that happen in Goa. Every taluka, there are some badminton events happening. Amazing talent. We just need to support them.
Now, when you say support, I would like now, there's a new government, there's a new sports ministry.
Yes.
A completely, I would say, refurnished sports ministry.
Yes.
So what are the things that y'all are keeping in mind to get support from them? This is a question for both of them.
Yeah, see, we had a lot of problems in the past, not only badminton, I mean all sports. Because the sports minister was not he was not actually a sports person, nor was he in any way associated with sports. So he did not know the challenges which a sports person would face, or an association, the administrative difficulties which would rise. So all these factors were there. I think the present sports minister, Mr. Govind Gowde, is a very sincere person, and we had a meeting with him. We didn't get to discuss much, but he has assured us to give us a date. Probably within a month or so. Okay. And he's met a lot of officials, sports department officials. He went and had an inspection on the swimming pool. Yes. So all these projects, there were a lot of lapses which were done by the previous sports minister, you could say. It was not that focused on getting the infrastructure completed on time, but I would say this sports minister is more focused, and I'm sure that he would get sports back on track. Now, another point which I would like to raise here is the Khelo India center, which the Khelo India center, which the government is coming up with. It's a central scheme where 3 sports have been allotted. Kampal Stadium has been earmarked as the center of excellence, where there is badminton, swimming and table tennis. But here also, the pool of talent is only from Goa. So, like I said, if you have a pool of talent where you have outstation players coming and our players also there, then you will not have the top players going outside. Now, if our players keep playing within themselves, you will not have that kind of national or international level results. So the government is going to spend up large amount of money, which is running into crores, and the results we are not sure if you will get it. So government, I feel, has to do a rethink and make a proportion of maybe 50% Goans and 50% outstation players should be permitted. Because as it is now, if you see, there are 30 slots of 30 players, and there are no takers. You'll be surprised government is sponsoring everything, but swimming hardly maybe 10, 15, and table tennis also similar, 10, 15. So the best players don't want to come. Why they don't want to come? Because of this reason. They don't get their equal level of players to participate again.
Yeah,
so you
true.
have more of beginner level and intermediate level players coming, and the government is actually spending 8-10 crores a year on this concept, getting the best coaches from outside.
Exactly.
So maybe this is something we want to meet. We'll propose this to the sports minister, because the funds shouldn't get wasted. If the government is putting in so many crores of rupees, then some results should be there.
Would you like to comment something on this?
I believe yesterday the Honorable Minister did make a statement to say that the primary thing that is lacking in sports in Goa is funds. He did say he'll take up the issue with the Chief Minister to talk about the need and the paucity of existing paucity of funds for this sports in Goa. Rightly so, if funds are arranged, issues like having a good composite mix of players, both Goan as well as outstation players, to promote this sport is essential, and that can be done. But we need to make sure the financial support is there, obviously. See, finance will solve a lot of these problems. The infrastructure, putting the nice ecosystem in place, the processes, reaching out and penetrating right up to the grassroots levels and the villages. It will all solve these issues. But yes, government alone cannot do this. I completely, understand that. All the other stakeholders, like I said, the corporates, we need to pull in the corporates and those who can contribute to the sport. We need to pull them together. We have the cause, we have the talent. I see no reason why we can't approach them and put them together.
Exactly. Coming to my last segment is that when we spoke about the jobs, we spoke about the residential, the academy. Now coming back is about the professional management when it is required from the authorities. Okay. I would just say that what would you like to say on this? What are your suggestions and what was lacking behind?
Okay, I'll tell you the challenges faced by me and other secretaries vis-a-vis the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork which a secretary or an association has to do to get funds, maybe even to depute the team for the nationals, or day to day. When most of the posts are voluntary posts,
Honorary posts,
you could say.
Okay.
So there is no staff. We don't have our own staff because we don't have those kinds of funds where we can appoint our own staff. So of course, an association which is not active will not have much paperwork. But for an association which is active throughout the year and where you have 3 or 4 activities happening every month, then there is a lot of paperwork which is there. So that becomes a big challenge. Even in the Sports Authority of Goa, you could say that the procedures are a bit lengthy to avail certain schemes. So this can be streamlined. These are the issues which can be streamlined. Government has come up with online systems now in other departments. So like if you want an electricity connection or if you want renewals of some other licenses. So they have come out with all these online. They have eased the paperwork, if you see. So whereas the sports department has still not got into this online systems. Maybe we could recommend this to the sports ministry, where just with the click of your mouse sitting on your computer, you could just feed in the names of the players who would attend the nationals and get the sanctions, get the approvals. So these procedures could be eased by the government, and through various softwares. Now more and more apps are also coming. We can achieve a lot of objectives where paperwork could be completely eliminated. So this will reduce the burden of the association secretaries. From the SAG side also, they have a lot of staff, but they have not allotted any staff to the department or to the associations. So if they can club maybe 5 associations together and allot one staff to these 5 associations to take care of their needs, then maybe then associations will also start functioning better, more professionally. Like Football Association has got their own office. Correct. They have got a staff set up, and government provides them grants, you could say. But we don't get the same kind of grants to pay the salaries and all. And if we keep a staff, then that hinders our other areas. Like we cannot promote, we get limited funds, and if we keep a staff and pay maybe 20,000-30,000 salary for the staff, then it hinders our promotion of the game in other areas. We have to take money from somewhere else and pay these salaries. So we are doing honorary works, and so this is something which can change, which needs to change, I would say.
What is your take on this?
In addition to what Sandeep says, as administrators of the game here in Goa, now, for example, the Apex Association is the GBA for badminton, okay, under the SAG. And GBA person, for example, I see Sandeep, being the sole person and the only person seeming to do all the hard work 365 days a year. It's only Sandeep Heble which is always there. Okay, there are people in the background as well, but I think we as clubs, 30 odd clubs?
Yeah,
30 odd clubs. I mean, they are all loosely operating. I feel we need to operate as a cohesive unit. There has to be, collaboration of all these clubs, at least some of these major clubs who can put their resources together, come together. Because that itself, we start off small, okay, that itself can be a good start to support the association, to overcome these small issues of, conducting itself and professionally managing itself. Now, I mean, I'm not taking away the way we are currently functioning, the way GB is functioning, but I feel there is a need to support it and strengthen it much more, definitely. And it is doable. 30 odd clubs is not a small number. And I'm very sure each of these clubs would have some financially prominent individuals. Okay, there would be, good mix of society in these clubs, which can, if collaborated together across all the talukas, I'm very sure will go to strengthen GBA as an association for this sport. And obviously it goes to add to what we've been discussing so far. We work from the grassroots level all the way up. That's absolutely essential.
Yeah, we are talking of these 30 clubs which are registered and organizing the official tournaments. Apart from that, like I mentioned to you, there are many which are organizing outdoor tournaments and friendly tournaments, festival tournaments.
Absolutely.
So those are also part of our ecosystem, although they are not directly affiliated to us.
All right. I think we are running short of time. Thank you so much. I hope I have covered most of the points. And
sure.
I think if you give me a minute, I will just speak one important point.
Please.
Government of India has come out with a very nice scheme, which is that Khelo India scheme. So under that Khelo India scheme, they finance the sports persons. So the best sports person, there is a tournament and the best sports persons are shortlisted. And then they are provided, I think, 10 lakhs a year or something like that, 10 lakhs in all for their training and for their schooling and covering all costs. So if Goa can also come out with a similar scheme, they have one scheme now, which is the center of, which is a scheme for international excellence, where the player gets 30 lakhs. So this is the top level players who are eligible under the scheme, and Anura is one of those players who has been approved under the scheme. But a little lower level, the second level, I would say. So you have the top level of 30 lakhs. You have a second level scheme, and you shortlist about 20 players, the 20 of the best talents from Goa. You might have 2 or 3 from badminton. Like we have Arjun and Lydia. Of course, Tanisha is now international level. So we have applied for her under the Center of Excellence scheme. So you have Arjun Falari, you have Lydia Barreto, who too have represented India at Asian. And in table tennis you have Anshuman Agarwal, you have Wesley, then in swimming you have Sanjana, In squash, you would have maybe Yash Patti is there. Yash also, you could say, would come under the international excellence scheme. But the second level could be, the Khelo India at the local level, similar kind of scheme, where 30 players, 20, 30 players could be identified and directly funded. So I think that would mean a lot to these sports persons. SCG is doing a lot in terms of sponsoring teams for the nationals. I don't think other states have got similar schemes. So in that way, you have to appreciate what the SCG is doing. But that is more of, quantity. Now from this quantity, you identify the quality.
Correct.
So you identify the 30 best players across all sports disciplines and you start funding them and you will see the results. I mean, nationally, the last national games, Goa was, you could say, among the bottom 5 or 10. But we would see Goa has the potential, has the infrastructure. We would see Goa among the top 10 if you identify the best top 30 and start funding them. And then at the senior level also we will achieve a lot of success. We have to catch them now and fund them now.
It's too late.
Yeah.
I think on that note we came to, even I got to learn a lot. I got to know more about badminton, how even I really salute you, sir, for what you're doing for the association, also how you're taking it ahead, and for you too, sir. Thank you so much for your time and coming to studios of Herald TV. We wish you all the very best and we hope to see much more great players in this year or maybe in the future as well. Thank you so much. Well, that's all we have in today's episode of Sports Talkies. We will see you in another week with another episode with much more entertainment and some fillers of sports in Goa. This is Clinton D'Souza signing off with Sports Talkies.